Hello and welcome to this stimulating discussion on the book 1984, written by George Orwell, here on ETAR Studios. In the studio today, we welcome the dictator of Syria, Professor Dybalenka, who studied at Oxford University, and a Welsh high school teacher. So now, I will give the audience a bit of an insight of what the novel is about. The book is about a twisted society called the Big Brother Society. The concept is that there is one leader who basically controls the whole country. They have cameras and microphones everywhere, and even thinking of how to rebel will get you arrested by the thought police, and then death. So now here is the dictator of Syria, Mr. Magomedov. So how are you today?
Good, thank you.
So as you know, you are here to discuss the book 1984. After reading it, what are your initial thoughts about the plot and the different ideas?
Well, I thought the actual storyline was very interesting and original. I think that George Orwell did a great job.
And being you, openly a dictator, what were your views on how Orwell puts across the ruling system in the book? Because I know that he described it as being more or less negative rather than positive.
Well, I think that the way he directly put it across was well done, but I do agree with you. It was more negative rather than positive.
And do you agree on the way that George Orwell has put across the idea of dictatorship?
I think that the way that he did this was very clever. He basically described the modern-day government and ruling system, but over-exaggerated it to give us a sense of dystopia. Although I must slightly disagree about the way he put forward the concepts of dictatorship, it is also very negative in the book for some of us. It is the only way forward.
Okay, but what if, as quite a few were saying when the book first came out, Orwell was trying to put across his feelings about dictatorship without being too direct?
It was his book, and so he could have chosen to do what he wanted, and that's fine. His opinion.
I see that you are getting slightly unsettled. Is this a bad subject?
No, please go on.
So overall, what do you think about the relationship between 1984 and the real world today?
It's true that there are many people in the world today that disagree with dictatorship and how I rule my country, but I don't. I think that it was the right and correct way to run things.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Magomedov. Now we welcome our second guest, Professor Dybalenka. Professor Dybalenka, who graduated from Oxford with an English major in 1998. So, Professor Dybalenka, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, but please call me Sheila.
Okay, Sheila, did you enjoy the read?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the book. George Orwell did a great job.
So what do you think? What do you like about Orwell's writing style?
Well, I think firstly that the plot was great and so was the storyline. He definitely put across that very well. However, at some points during the text, it is a wide opinion throughout the public that Orwell has a tendency to go too long without giving something to keep the reader entertained.
Did you feel that the story was communicated across well? If so, tell us how this was done.
I feel that the language was very intellectual and the plot was difficult to grasp at first, but easy once you get the hang of it.
Did you struggle with the book at any parts?
No, I was just explaining that there was a lot of difficult language and speech grammar.
Okay, so what did you find that Orwell's main writing styles were?
Orwell uses the 5 rules that he himself made up. The main 2 were not to use words that were not necessary and not to overcomplicate sentences. He liked to keep sentences as simple as possible.
Thank you, Sheila. Now we'll move on to our final guest, coming from the centre of Wales. Derek Stevenson is a high school teacher working at Woodlands High School. He frequently uses this book in class with his students, as apparently it is one of his many favourites. Enough from me now. Derek, what did you like most about the book?
Well, I love the description of the slums, especially the way that you could tell the pent-up frustration of the civilians, personified by the fact that at the first time Winston enters the slums, he has various bricks and other sort of missiles thrown at him.
Well, that was a very detailed description, Ethan.
Thank you very much.
So, we have to finish the broadcast there. Thanks to all our wonderful guests. And that wraps it up here for tonight. Goodbye from ETAR Studios.